Girl, are you healed or are you just avoiding? Let's talk about it. Welcome to Lick Her Lovin Emporium. I am your host, Michelle. You have permission to call me Michelle Her Grace, Michelle, or Thunder. Don't you dare call me Auntie. And I absolutely detest the word ma'am. You can catch me on all streaming platforms every Wednesday at 8 p.m. And on the last Wednesday of every month, you get to call in and speak directly with the guest of the day and me. That's right, direct access, no gatekeeping over here. Now, today's episode is giving self awareness. It's giving shadow work. It's giving be so for real. We're talking about healing, specifically healing after the dissolution of a relationship. And let me say this with my whole chest: the death of a relationship and the loss of a loved one are two different categories of grief, but both can feel like a funeral in your spirit. The silence hits different, the absence is loud. Your nervous system remembers everything. But here's the part that most of us try to soft launch and skip over: the real, raw, unfiltered self reflection. Healing, real healing, requires accountability. Owning how you showed up, owning how you departed, owning who you were in that relationship. Not just how she did you, not just how she fumbled you, not just how she was toxic, avoidant, gaslighting, breadcrumbing, or playing in your face, but how did you participate? I have said this before, and I will continue to reaffirm it until it is stitched into the lining of this podcast. I only speak on what I have been through and what I have done the work on. I am not theorizing, I am testifying. The first step to healing is accepting responsibility for the outcome, not blame responsibility. The second step, evaluating what part of your essence felt unworthy, what lacked discernment, what needed a stage to perform on, what character development arc you subconsciously signed up for. Because sometimes that relationship wasn't your forever, it was indeed your formation. Many people think closure is the ceremonial door slam, the dramatic text, the last conversation, the blocked contact, the unfollow. But in my opinion, closure is internal. It is the ritual of reflecting, pinpointing the growth, defining the lesson, and rewriting your dating resume. Yes, girl, your dating resume. What boundaries have you mastered? What red flags can you now clock at zero point 0.2 seconds? What love languages are now non negotiable? What standards are you no longer shrinking to meet? Now, here's where we lean in. Does your healing journey require avoiding? Because let's make it plain. What happens when you see your ex in public with her new flame? Do you tense up? Does your chest tighten? Does your sacral chakra start doing backflips? Does your heart chakra feel like it just got side eyed? Are you uncomfortable or are you truly indifferent? Curiosity check, fear check. Is the discomfort about her or about how you feel about yourself in proximity to her? I have healed in this way. I genuinely have no desire to rekindle, revisit, nor restore my most recent situationship. That chapter is closed. No spin offs, no bonus scenes. I have healed from the disappointment. I have healed from the shame of how I showed up. I have forgiven myself for allowing someone to treat me vile and poorly. But let me keep it a stack with you. I also purposely avoid places where I think she and her new flame may be. Events I would normally be outside and all up in, I opt out because the sheer thought of seeing her still makes my blood warm. Not longing, not desire, but heat. So, what is that? Healing or high functioning avoidance? And I ask you, my lovely women of the LGBTQ community, my femmes, my studs, my soft mask, darlings, my STEM queens, my divine sapphics, are you healed? Or are you curating your peace in ways that still revolve around her orbit? Can you be in the same room and not be activated? And if you can't, that's not shame, that's data. Your triggers are not embarrassing, they are informational. Lean into curiosity. What am I afraid will happen if I see her? What story am I telling myself? What part of me still wants to be validated? Healing is not aesthetic. It's not a vibe. It's not a soft life Pinterest board. It is discipline. It is ego death. It is radical self honesty. And it is necessary if you want to evolve and stop meeting the same energy in different people, because that is also a thing. And yeah, I absolutely refuse to keep meeting pretty women the same ugly energy. I'm responsible for that. So before we move into our next segment, I want you to sit with this. Are you healed or just avoiding? This is Lick Her Lovin Emporium. I am your host, Michelle. You can catch me on all streaming platforms every Wednesday at 8 p.m. And on the last Wednesday of every month, you can call direct, speak with me, or the host of the day. That's right, all access. This is segment 2 of the Lick Her Lovin Emporium podcast. And in segment 2, we're going to talk about spiritual detachment, cutting the cord, not just the contact. I'd like to start and open up this segment with a question that might hit you in the sternum. It might hurt a little bit, but I need to ask and get your be honest. This stuff does not work if you are not honest with yourself. Okay? All right. So here's the question. You ready? All right. Have you ever stopped talking to her, blocked her, deleted the photos, moved on, you're in a new relationship, you're physically with someone else, but she still shows up in your dreams like she pays rent there? Yeah, let's go there. This segment is about detachment, not just physical detachment, but spiritual detachment. And I'm going to say this with love. If you are spiritually numb, if you're not in tune with your innermost frequency responders, this part may feel advanced, not because you're incapable, but because you haven't tapped in yet. Now, here's my revelation. There are 5 Leo bodies on my maternal grandmother's side of the family. Out of all 5 Leos, there are 4 born in August. I am the only July Leo. That should tell you something about who I am and how I'm bringing it. I am indeed the cycle breaker. Okay? And so, in order to break cycles, you don't get to skip them. You have to go through them, survive them, transmute them, come out refined, not bitter, and then have the audacity to share your triumphs so other women know it's possible to create a new paradigm. That means falling on your face, getting back up, getting through the adversity, and being brave enough to share it. Because let's be honest, There will be people who will, it'll resonate with them, but then there will be a large margin of people who will be insensitive, and they will laugh at your pain, and they will ridicule, and we'll pray for them. We'll absolutely pray for them, but it takes a whole lot of strength to be a cycle breaker, and it's not something that you are called to do because you've been picked on. It's just the essence of you, right? Knowing and understanding is where it all comes together. And that's another episode, but yeah, let me stay focused, right? It's giving generational alchemist right here, though, okay? It's giving divine disruptor. It's giving soft but sovereign. Like, yeah, you really need to understand how I'm bringing it, who I am. Because no matter what you've endured, abandonment, betrayal, breadcrumbing, situations that never feel materialized, you can shift into the highest version of yourself. This is what I'm doing this for, so that if you're out here or if you're out there listening and any of this resonates with what you're going through, how you identify, you need to know you are not marginalized. You are not unique in that you're the only one going through it. Others have gotten through it, and they're here, right here is a place where you can get guidance, comfort, and support. All right? So I need to make sure that those things are clear. All right. Wow. I need you to understand you cannot ascend while you're spiritually entangled. That is why cutting the cord spiritually from a past relationship, situationship is important. Not just the physical connection. You need to sever the spiritual connection. You need to give that person back to the streets. I'm so serious. I have a heightened sense of spiritual awareness. I choose to tap into my intuition, and for quite some time, I could feel someone spiritually, even without physical contact for months, even years. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever felt that? You're minding your business, living your soft life or your hard life, shit, even going through some shit, and suddenly, boom, her energy crosses your spirit like a notification you didn't sign up for. That's not coincidence. That's corded energy. There was a woman I loved. I mean, I loved this bitch. I loved her. Don't ask me why, because she dragged me. She dragged me. Oh my gosh, she dragged me. Um, she dragged me like those cans. Oh, she dragged me like the cans that people tie to the back of their car um, after they get married. And like I'm the dragged can, and she's in a car married to someone else. That's how dragged she dragged me. But hey, like I said, taking responsibility for how someone treated you, you have to take responsibility for it. So I own it all. Anyway, there was a woman that I loved, and I wouldn't say we were dating. We actually weren't even in a relationship. It absolutely was not that. It was unrequited. The feelings weren't reciprocated, but there was plenty of sex. There was plenty of playing house, if you will. Um, and I don't know, I guess I let the sex and the delusion cloud my discernment. I want you to be honest with yourself. Have you ever mistaken chemistry for compatibility? I want you to be honest with yourself. Have you ever mistaken chemistry for compatibility? Lust for loyalty, intensity for intimacy. Long after I stopped seeing her, long after I stopped hearing from her, she began appearing in my dreams in a very intrusive way. Not romantic, not nostalgic, intrusive. Spirit was warning me. I sensed that my presence was being foreshadowed in her new relationship, that parts of me, my imprint, my essence, were bleeding into something that I was no longer physically part of. And that's when I made a decision. I demanded that she stop showing up in my dreams. I gave her a spiritual funeral. Yes, a funeral. No flowers, all dirt and a coffin. I severed the cord. I forbade her from contacting me spiritually ever again. Because detachment is not just about unfollowing, it's about reclaiming your energetic equity. Every person you become intimate with, especially sexually intimate, carries a piece of your spiritual print. There are so many songs that allude to, we were once kissing, now we're strangers. But are you really strangers if fragments of you are still circulating in her aura? Let me ask you something. In the middle of this conversation, have you ever moved on but still felt claimed? Have you ever laid next to someone new and felt an old presence hovering in your subconscious? That's not crazy. That's unburied energy. Giving an intimate past love a spiritual burial is necessary. Not dramatic, necessary. And if this resonates, would you be interested in receiving a spiritual release cleanse candle? I know an amazing priestess who crafts intentional candles specifically for cord cutting and energetic reclamation. Because some of y'all don't need another girl's trip. You need a ritual, you need a release, you need to command your energy back. I desire to and have reclaimed every spiritual fragment that was once left behind. I am a full cycle, whole loving, refreshed endurance clairvoyant. I yield my power, I give my love wholeheartedly, and when I am done, I command it back fully. That is not toxicity, that is sovereignty. Let me leave you with one final question before we close. Is there someone you don't see anymore, but still feel far too often? If so, are you willing to bury what your body already let go of? I hope this episode was insightful. I hope it enabled you to look within, not just at who hurt you, but at what still has access to you spiritually. Heal from the person you no longer see physically, but think about spiritually. I am your host, Michelle. This is Lick Her Lovin Emporium. You can catch me on all podcast platforms every Wednesday at 8 p.m. And on the last Wednesday of every month, you have the opportunity to call in and talk to the guest and me, your host, directly. Stay open, stay true, oh, and get lit.